This is Philip Tracy, editor at RCR Wireless News and Industrial IoT 5G. Welcome to this week's IoT in Action, where we discuss real-world IoT use cases and case studies. Today with me, I have Tom Gregor. He is the president and general manager of Machine Network at Ingenu. Tom, thanks for being here with me.
Hi, Philip. Thanks for having me.
So today we're going to talk about a case study you all have featured on your website, where you talk about how you use your RPMA network to help the tiny Caribbean island of Aruba, help them create a smart grid. So you all worked with the Dutch company Elmar, whose full name I won't even try to attempt, but they're the only power provider in the island of Aruba. So what exactly were they trying to accomplish?
This is a great case study. We talk about the smart city. This truly is a smart country, smart island solution. Elmar is the distributor of electricity for the island of Aruba. So they run transmission and distribution lines to over 40,000 metered customers on the island. And they were looking to gain efficiencies in their own operations, as well as to provide efficiencies to their residents and customers on the island that they're distributing the electrical supply to. So they were evaluating different technologies on how they could effectively improve their operations, gain efficiencies. They wanted to introduce an AMI, a smart metering solution on the island. They evaluated several different technologies with the goal of finding something that will reduce their cost, something that will provide them with longevity of a solution. So they didn't want to roll out a technology that they'd have to replace in the foreseeable future. And they needed something that had capacity, that could handle the number of endpoints that would be on this island, but also they wanted to look at something that could grow into other solutions as well. So as we discussed this case study, this is a perfect example of the RPMA technology that Ingenu has created. That's what they've moved forward with and started with smart grids, and now they've got a multitude of different applications on the island.
Great. And so you already talked about them choosing you over other solutions. So that's kind of stage one. Can you talk a little bit about the timeline from that point on to deployment of your solution?
Sure. So this was back in the 2013 timeframe. So roughly 3 years ago, they selected RPMA and rolled out a 50-unit pilot. This pilot was for their smart electrical meters. That pilot went very well. That following up just last year, or the year following in 2014, they started to deploy into smart LED streetlights. So today, 3 years later into this project, they not only have smart electrical meters, they have smart streetlights, totaling over 50,000 endpoints on the island today. As being the electrical provider on the island, they have overhead distribution lines. So there is a solution, a fault circuit indicator can be hung on an electrical line and it detects voltage. So they've also distributed that solution onto the island as well. And then they've looked at other assets that they have on the island that have oil pressure. They wanted to be proactive and monitor that oil pressure on some of their transformers to know for maintenance, repairs, diagnostics. They rolled out a solution there as well. So even today, they're looking at getting into smart water metering. So there's just a multitude of different solutions that runs very well over the RPMA technology.
Yeah, and so the way you allow them to connect their devices and be able to do all of this stuff is using RPMA, Ingenu's solution to a low-powered network, something that is capable of connecting, as many devices as the island needs. So can you talk a little bit about what RPMA is, why it is best for IoT, or why it's best for particular use cases?
Oh, absolutely, Philip. So RPMA was purpose-built from the ground up for machine communications. It isn't a technology that was purpose-built for voice or other things and has been shoehorned into trying to now provide low-power data for machines. From its outset, RPMA, Random Phase Multiple Access, that's their acronym, is the technology that Ingenu has created for machines. It provides low power, So a device could be run on battery for up to 15, 20 years, depending on the use case of that device. So the low power, wide area piece of the technology, a single access point that Elmar deployed could achieve up to a 200, 300 square mile radius of coverage. So just the propagation that the technology affords in providing that great coverage is one aspect of the technology, but capacity. A single site can support tens to hundreds of thousands of endpoints communicating across that single access point. So the benefits of cost, coverage, capacity, security. Again, Ingenu built this technology from the ground up, knowing that security is absolutely vital and important to the IoT. We have a very robust security mechanism using AES encryption, triple DES encryption. And also the technology it's a two-way technology. So bidirectionally, an endpoint can send its data, that meter can send its data up to Elmar, the utility. But if Elmar wanted to change the reporting frequency or push firmware down to that smart meter or that street light, the technology affords that capability. So it is truly a two-way technology that can meet the demands of the IoT, the greater IoT. So a lot of what Aruba is doing could be classified as industrial IoT when we're talking about smart meters and streetlights. But where RPMA is headed, not just for the island of Aruba, but on a global nature, we're here to serve the broader IoT and get into any kind of fleet tracking, asset tracking, pet tracking, vending, smart meters. You name the vertical in IoT, and RPMA can serve that very well.
Great. Well, we're really looking forward to seeing all those different implementations and all these different industries, and we'll definitely touch base again down, in the future. So
that'd be great. We'd love to share our next success stories, and not just the island of Aruba, but as I said, we're planning to cover the globe with RPMA coverage.
Great. Well, Tom, thank you very much for speaking with me today about RPMA, about your case study with Aruba, and thanks for being on IoT in Action.
Oh, you're welcome, Phil. Good speaking with you.